It goes wrong because of avoidable mistakes. Filing without your W-2s or 1099s can lead to errors, delays, or IRS notices. Always wait until you've received and reviewed all your income documents before filing. Another mistake is mixing personal and business expenses. This is especially risky for small business owners and freelancers. Keep separate accounts and track expenses consistently throughout the year. Another mistake is that many people rush to file their returns without reviewing them. Speed can cost you deductions or create mistakes that takes months to fix. The best thing to do is to take time to review your returns or work with a qualified tax professional. Tax season rewards preparation, not panic. If you want clarity and peace of mind during this tax season, please speak to a FinServ Pro advisor before you file. Kindly reach out to us via the phone number +1 240 714 8958 or contact us via our website www.finserv.pro or at our Gmail info@finserv.pro, or you could even follow us on social media at FinServ Pro. Thank you.
FinServ Pro, your gateway to financial success.
A tax consultant this season, preparation is everything. Having the right documents can save you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Start with your income documents, W-2s from employers, 1099s from freelance or contract work, and any record of additional income. Next, gather your identification documents, your social security number or ITIN, and any other valid identification. You also need expense and deduction records. This includes business expenses, receipts, mileage logs,
Instagram.
rent, utilities, and health
So Instagram, no, but I'm saying the
related
YouTube.
costs where applicable. If you're a business owner, bring your financial records, including bank statements, bookkeeping reports, and last year's tax return. Coming prepared helps your tax consultant focus on strategy and not guesswork. If you need a tax consultant to help with your taxes this season, look no further. FinServ Pro got you covered. You can contact us via the phone number +1 240 714 8958 or send a mail to info@finserv.pro or via our website www.finserv.pro, or you can follow us on our social media platform FinServ Pro.
FinServ Pro, your gateway to financial success.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Beautiful people, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another beautiful day, and I am super excited to be here. And of course, if you are just seeing this for the first time, this is Money Moves Tax Edition. And of course, we kicked off last week talking about what first time filers should know, what first time filers should consider. And we had a very robust conversation with our boss, the CEO of FinServ Pro, a person of Mr. Ayomide Ibrahim. I mean, when I still think about that session, I just feel like this man has so much to teach, so we decided to say, whoa, let us continue this conversation this week because definitely we cannot have enough, right? So it is imperative that, when you are talking about wealth building, when we're talking about filing taxes, accounting, general wealth and generational wealth as well, it makes sense for us to know certain things, and filing your taxes right, knowing exactly what to do, who to speak with, all of this amount at the end of the day to you understanding your finances, understanding what you're supposed to do, understanding investments, and so on and so forth. So welcome to FinServ Pro. And of course, you know that FinServ Pro is your gateway to financial success. So we're about to take you on another journey. And I am here with the man who I am sure if you've ever come across FinServ Pro at all, or you're talking about an individual who likes growth to happen in all aspects of life. I'll tell you, as an individual, as a business, he just wants you to know more, to grow more, and he gives everything that everything about him into what he does. I mean, he's not someone that is strange to us. I'm sure my very boss, okay, Mr. Ayomide Ibrahim, and he's right here with the white shirt, looking like a rich man that he is. Hello, sir.
Amen. Amen. I claim that. I claim it.
Welcome aboard, sir. I am sure that we're going to have a fantastic conversation. How have you been? How's the tax season dragging you left, right, and center?
I mean, it's tax season is is just one of those seasons that we enjoy here at FinServ Pro,
Mm-hmm.
because we see satisfaction. We
Yeah.
see people trying to do what is right and not just what they want to do. Yeah,
Mm.
and even though it's very hectic, we love it. We
Yes.
love the feeling that the people get, and
Mm.
we cannot complain.
We cannot complain. Absolutely. We
Yeah,
can we need them to come more. So please
yeah.
bring all those challenges that you have and bring them to us so that we can, of course, talk about them. We can help you through them. We can help you file your taxes. We can help you get those accounting right, get the right loans, know what to do about mortgage, and so on and so forth. So if you are just joining us, welcome on board. This is Money Moves Tax Edition. You want to and get seated somewhere that is comfortable for you, get your notes and papers and jot things down because definitely we're going to touch on a topic that I believe that in this age and time, it is one that is very relevant, and that is DIY, do it yourself versus, hiring a professional. And the truth is that we are in a world where I was at an event yesterday, and one of the speakers was saying a lot of people want the easy way out. The
Hmm.
easy way out is usually easy and sweet, but sometimes it lands you into trouble, right? So we want to talk about it because we're in a world where there's AI now. There are different platforms and different tools that you can use and just do it by yourself. And the question, right, keeps arising: why do I need a professional if I can just do it myself? Why is it even important? Right? I think we should just kick off from there, Mr. Ayo, to discuss specifically, I mean, just in general terms, not too in depth now because we're just starting off. In general terms, why is it even important? Why should we have the mindset to even hire a professional instead of just doing it ourselves?
Yeah, I'll pick it up from where we stopped, last week, and it's the fact that sometimes when you do certain things yourself, you are just doing yourself, and
Mm,
you don't want that to happen to you, right? In life generally, there are things that at one level is just easy. It's just easy, and then you can do it yourself. Even
mm,
the life we live in, generally, there are things that at the level that you are, they are just easy,
mm,
right? But then, because of the growth that you pray and work for, you would rise to another level, right? And this other level would come with what I call complexities,
mm.
right? Complexities. Complexities is an answered prayer,
Right.
period. Complexity is an answered prayer. You wake up in the morning, you pray,
Mm,
and then you do the next thing, which is walk. Walk and pray, pray and walk, walk and pray, pray and walk. And then you rise, and then you grow, and then your business expands,
mm.
and then it becomes complex. That right there is a sign that your prayer is being answered.
Answered.
Yeah. Now, what is not an answered prayer is now complication. Complication is not an answered prayer. It is right for your life to get complex. It is not right for it to get complicated. And most of the time, what happens, is that you fail to understand that your life is now complex and you cannot handle it the same. And before you know it, you start switching from complexity to complications. Same thing with taxes. When you graduate from the university and then you get a job, maybe it's just a W-2 job, just a regular 9 to 5, right? You are not married yet. You don't have a home. You don't have investment. You are just going to work, working and getting salaries. And then at the end of the year, you just get what we call a W-2. There are several do-it-yourself DIY tools out there that you can just pay for and get your stuffs done. But then as you grow, as you start getting promotions, right? You get married, you start having children, right? You start buying a home, you start buying homes. You cannot do your taxes the same way you've been doing it before. Now, I am an advocate of do it yourself. I love, because do it yourself, if you ask me, is a big form of self-education.
Right.
Now, if you are so certain that the knowledge I've gained so far from one of the very, very big university that, if you ask me, is even free, which is YouTube. YouTube is, in my own opinion, the best university that could ever happen to this generation, right? You go there. If you are certain that what you have learned on YouTube is okay for you to go, you can do it yourself. But if you know that it is not sitting right, please just get a professional.
Avoid it. Get a professional.
Yeah, because
get it
in
right.
most times, right? In most cases, it is cheaper, way cheaper, to get a professional. Because don't forget, a professional is the one that has, just dedicated their lives to that very thing that you want to do. That is what they have dedicated their life to do. Just
so they know the
pay
nooks
them what
and
you have to
cranny,
pay,
all the answers.
They have everything before you even ask. For example, we have a client who came in late last night, and then they were talking about their scenario, which we cannot be, we can't be specific here because we don't have permission. I didn't get permission from them. At times, I get permission from client. Can I discuss your tax issues? And they'll say, yeah. So when they hear, they know that, oh, they give us permission. And then by the time we told them what they should do, the guy was like, wow, is it this easy? Is that easy? Because we have experienced the thing that you are experiencing for the first time. We have seen it over and over again. So it's just cheaper for you to just engage such.
Cheaper for me, right? I think, I think I'll hold that. It is cheaper because a lot of the time people feel that it is more expensive. It's just cheaper to go get it done. And one thing that you mentioned as well that is very, very fundamental or vital is the part where there's a certain level you get to, right, in your finances, in life, that you cannot do it yourself. And for me, I wanted to even ask a follow-up question, which would be, at what point will that be? How do you know? Is it your level of income? Is it your asset type? Is it at what point really is that supposed to be that you now feel like I should not be doing this thing myself anymore? I should get, so that some people can maybe say, okay, I have to do it now. I should go do it myself, or I should wait until I have $300 billion in my account.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just income, right? Because look at it this way. You graduate from college and then you got a job and then you are paid $100,000 a year on a W-2,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And then you have no other thing, just you and your W-2. So let's assume that 5 years down the line, you maintain the same job, and now they are paying you $500,000 per year. Your income has grown, but what makes up who you are when it comes to your taxes has not changed. You are still
Mm.
unmarried with that one job. Even though the job has grew 5 times, you are still that person. So if you have
Mm.
mastered filing your taxes with $100,000 a year, you can file with $500,000 a year because you've mastered that. But what I
Right.
say, right, is when you now start having additions, because as you know now, Africans, we pray that children, bro, work, go to school, finish school,
Increases. Yeah.
get work, graduate,
Mm.
marry, buy house, buy car, invest for your future. Yeah, these are additions that we pray and hope for, right? So your income is one. By the time you get married, you have to file marriage filing jointly. And if you want to file separately, right, you might need to ask, what are those things, that I need to do? If you can now educate yourself to conquer that, fine, right? Now, we now have where you start having assets, right?
Mm.
Like your home, for example, you buy a home. That home at the same time is an asset to you, at the same time is a liability. When you buy a
Right.
house here in the United States, it comes with two trunks. It's an asset at a point, is a liability, on the other hand, right?
Mm.
Now, that
Mm.
is one. Your children start going to school, they start getting what we call 1098, for example.
Fancy.
Should they still be your dependent? Right? You invest in stock exchange, you get 1099B, you get 1099 interest, you get 1099 dividend. All of these additions, right? Some of them are assets, some of them are liabilities. And the tax code in the United States, you know, have been set up in a way that there are different tax forms you must complete.
Mm.
If you have a W-2, for example, all you need is just your 1040. If you have a 1099 job now, you need to file what we call your 10 you need to file what we call your Schedule C, right? If you are a student or you have a child that is a student that is still your dependent, they need to give you what we call a 1098T. If you have a home,
Mm.
you need to have what we call a 1098 mortgage, statement. You have you got dividend from a company, you get 1099 There are several forms that you would receive from everybody that you engaged with. The person that you work with, they will give you a form, right? Or a statement. This is what we have to show that you are working well. The one that you work as independent contractor, they will give you a form. The school that you go to, they will give you a form. The house that you live in, whether it is your own house or you rented,
Oh.
it is,
Mm.
everybody that you had a financial connection with must give you something at the end of the year. Everybody.
Mm.
Now, the question now is what you get from who you engage with financially, where do
Right.
you plug them in your taxes?
Mm.
That is where
It gets
doing it
complicated.
yourself might
Mm.
not. You start a business, for example.
Mm.
You start a business, we have different forms of business, right? Sole proprietorship, LLC, multi-member LLC, partnership, C Corp, S Corp, not for profit. If you
Mm.
have any of these businesses, what do you know that you are going to find? Right? And we have professionals that have been doing this thing, right? And not just doing it for years. When
Right.
there's a new tax code or tax law, they for example, now, the big beautiful bill states that when you get overtime, part of your 1/3 of your overtime has to be reported as a deduction. We still have to be asking some of our clients, did you do overtime? A lot of them don't even know. The other day,
Mm.
we got a lady who came in here because I know the lady very well. I know she does a lot of overtime. I'm the one that have to be telling her that overtime that you did last year, they must have given you a paper. She said, they gave me one paper. Oh. That's true. On the letter, they wrote overtime on it. Let me go and look for it. If she did not give us that paper, she would have missed out on about $700 additional refund.
Wow.
$700. Calculate that in naira. You know we are Nigerians. Let's calculate in naira. Right? So these things are. It's just pretty simple. Now look at this lady now. Right? Her fee to FinServ Pro, because she's our old-time client, we give her discount. She's just going to pay us $200. Now, let's assume that she has decided to do this thing herself. She would have missed out on additional $700. Let's just assume that that is the only thing she does not know. You miss out on $700 because you don't want to pay $200. $200 is not what we receive, but that is what we for the in this lady. Yeah. So it's not just about income. It's about the additions that comes in to your financial portfolio, because you are now doing what? You are now growing. It is expected that as you grow, your financial tentacles should also grow. And everywhere your tentacle reach, they must give you something to go and file taxes with. Some of them you might not need to include on your taxes, but they will still give you something, and they will put it there, not for tax purpose, but for information only. They will still give you something. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. That's a full masterclass right there. That was a full masterclass. There's a lot people need to understand and know when it comes to taxes and when it comes to you working with a professional. For me, I think that there's always something that a professional knows that you do not know. And it's just important to have it at the back of your mind that this is important to do and continue to do it. But my question, next question would be that, in your years of consulting, what is the one high value deduction or credits that almost every DIYer consistently misses? Because people promote the fact that, let us do it. I mean, you can do it yourself. And like you mentioned earlier, there's YouTube now. You can go to YouTube, learn so many things, but we forget as well that YouTubers, they pick chunks of conversations. Some of them don't even have the entire, scope to the discussion. And sometimes the practical side of life and the visual or theoretical part of life is quite different. So what's that, that high value deduction or credits that almost every DIYer constantly misses from your years of experience?
One that we see most of the time is the 1098 mortgage. So when you pay your rent, your mortgage every month, part of that mortgage have what we call the interest. You pay your interest, you pay your principal, and then it includes some of the things that they escrow for you, your taxes. Now, at the end of the year, you should get what we call a 1098 from your mortgage company. And in that 1098, they are going to have what we call the interest, the principal that is remaining when you bought the house, the taxes that you pay. Now, the interest and the taxes are part of your deduction. What we call the state and local government taxes. They are part of your deductions. Now, what we see most of the time is that people miss out. They do not include the information on this form, the 1098 mortgage statement. And by not including, they are reducing the deduction that they could have used to reduce their income to their taxable income. Remember, we have what we call income, the money that you made, everything put together. We now have what we call the taxable income, which is income minus deduction. Income minus deduction is equals to what we call taxable income. No government in the world is wicked to say they are going to tax your entire income. No, I've not seen that government in the world,
Mm.
right? Government will say, you know what, we allow for these deductions, and if you think that you have more deductions, bring them. So what we see most of the time is that clients don't include this one. They have others like the American, tax opportunity credit. I've seen a lot of students not including this 1098 on their taxes, and then they miss out on this up to $1,000 that they could have gotten as credit,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
We have clients who, I mean, this one they don't forget. Child tax credit. Hardly have I seen hardly have I seen a client that filed taxes themselves and did not include their children, because
Mm.
that money for
It's
children, which is
beneficial.
2,200. They
Mm.
know they
Mm.
missed that one, but there are other credits that they forget to claim, and that's because they don't even know in the first place that it is a credit, or where they should even include it. People get forms, and that's why I talk to clients. Any form you receive, bring them. But we are not even doing something which we started about 3 years ago. Right now, we are not even relying on what you bring alone. We will ask you
Mm.
to go and open what we call an IRS account. Go to your IRS account. Everybody that you dealt with that should be included on your taxes, IRS already have those documents and they've
Um,
uploaded them. Yeah.
yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah.
we even advise clients, check your IRS account to see if the stuff is there. Yeah. But
Is
but
there.
the mortgage statement is one that we see most of the
Mm.
time that client
Mm.
misses out on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to go on a short break shortly, but then before we do that, right, let me just ask this question, right? And then we just go on a short timeout and then return. I know that when we talk about taxes, when we talk about filing, a lot of the time we consider just filing forms, just giving forms out, just filling some documents, right? But I know there's also wealth building, there's also wealth preservation. How does a tax leader in your field shift the focus towards wealth building or wealth preservation that is more long-term planning as against what a lot of people would consider, oh, let me just file my tax and just leave it at that? Because I believe it's a futuristic move and a very strategic one. So how do we have conversations? How do we even talk to people to say, okay, this is why, this is one or two or three of the reasons why this is more of a wealth building, wealth preservation thing than just you filing, certain forms.
Yeah. So what I say about the the correlation of tax filing and wealth building is this: you cannot build with what you have lost.
Hmm.
No. Mm-mm.
You cannot
you
build with what you have
you
lost.
you
Ayomide
cannot
Ibrahim,
build.
March 2026.
Yeah, you cannot build with what you have lost. Is lost. Lost.
Hmm.
Now, sometimes we lose some things in life, but then they will give us knowledge that we can use tomorrow. That is not lost. No. But there are some things that you have lost and is gone. You cannot get them back. One of those things is the money you leave on the table for the IRS to take away.
Hmm.
Right? And don't forget that one of the key components of wealth building is income. Income. Very,
Yeah.
very key. Hmm? Even
Yes.
the kingdom of,
Yes.
even in the
Yes.
kingdom of God, they say money is important. In his
Yes.
kingdom, owó ó ṣe kókó. So
Yes, sir.
money that you are supposed to use to add to build wealth for your children, you leave that on the table for others to carry because you did not file your taxes correctly. That is a problem. And that is why we say at FinServ Pro that one of the very, very key tools of wealth building is tax filing. Tax filing. Even billionaires understand this, right? And that's why they don't file the way you and I that are still hungry. They don't file like that.
But boss, you are not hungry. You are a
Who
rich
say
man. You can
say Uchi,
yes, so
go and check my account number.
yes,
You will know
so
that I'm still.
see the
You
CEO
will
of
know that.
FinServ Pro. No, 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 no. We don't roll like that over here. We build
Okay.
wealth and we
No,
flourish.
don't mind this man. Don't listen to him. Oh. FinServ Pro, we are still looking for money. Oh. So if you
We
are an
are, of
investor, please
course,
come.
that's the whole idea. We're looking for money. We're helping people make money. We have the money and we work in the money. Amen.
Okay. Easy.
Thank you so much, sir. So we'll come back shortly. We're going to just go on this short, commercial break just to take a breather. But if you're watching us, I'm sure you have questions. If you have questions, leave them. All right. Olufumi, is it Olufumi Sus? What am I? I can't fully see because of my screen. But thank you so much for joining us. I can see you right there. And hi, if you're watching us. Great stuff, and thank you, Mr. FinServ Pro. I hear actually she's hailing you, the tax pro. Yes, that's what's up. You
Yeah.
know what it is. They say
Olufumi SOS. I don't know if that
and
is
look
correct.
for
Thank you.
yes, Olufumi says thank you. And she says key components of wealth building is the income. So yes, that's Ayomide Ibrahim 2026. That's the key component. Thank you so much. Right, we'll be right back after this very, very, very brief break. Don't go anywhere. You can also share the link wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Share the link with within your connection. Let people join. Tell your friends to come and hear and understand a bit more about how to file their taxes and why it is important to also speak with a professional and not just do it yourself and leave money on the table. We don't want to leave money on the table. We want to make necessary and needful money moves that will build generational wealth. And that's what we're about at FinServ Pro. And like we say, FinServ Pro is your gateway to financial success. We open the gates for you to come into financial success. And that is what we know how to do best. We'll be right back after this timeout. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you shortly.
Why FinServ Pro? At FinServ Pro, we believe taxes are more than just numbers on a form. They're a huge part of your financial future. And that's why we focus on accuracy, integrity, and education. Because when you understand your finances, you make better decisions. As a tax agent, our goal isn't just to help you file correctly, but to help you file confidently and build long-term financial success. We don't just process returns, we provide clarity, strategy, and support every step of the way. We're ready to work with professionals who genuinely care about your growth. Contact us at FinServ Pro today.
So now we can talk, right?
Professionals who genuinely care about your growth. Contact us at FinServ Pro.
All right, we are back. All right, so beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that one. I mean, you saw the video that we played, right? And it is just what we do. If you want to speak with professionals, if you don't want to make those errors, right? Because sometimes the error that you make right now can affect you for a very long time. But then we are always there to help you in the areas of tax, the areas of accounting, your insurance, your mortgage, right? As much as possible, your loans, come send us a DM, go to our website, give us a call, whichever channel, send us an email. We are very, very, very available to help you not to make mistakes, to file rightly, to build generational wealth and just continue to grow. All right, I'm still here talking with Mr. Ayomide Ibrahim, the CEO of FinServ Pro, and we've been talking on the subject DIY versus professional when it comes to filing your taxes. And like I said, this is the Money Moves Tax Edition. You want to listen, you want to learn, send this to someone, let someone that doesn't know about this, come on board and learn. If you're joining us, of course, right now I can only see Instagram. Big shout out to everyone on Instagram watching us. I see Olori, Toby Mide, Ibrahim, right? Our Oga at the top. We hail thee. Thank you so much for finding the time to also join us on here. Okay, so let's just go to the other half of our conversation. And in life, sometimes we talk about red flags, okay? And we say these are sometimes it is mostly related to a man and a woman. Say these are 5 red flags that you should look out before you say yes. These are 6 red flags that you should look out before you say I do, you know. But when we're talking DIY, which is still do it yourself, I see that there's also do within the context of DIY. What are some of the red flags, right? It can be 1, it can be 2, that we must continue to look out for, that DIYers should always look out for, right? When it comes to filing, what are some of those red flags that you should look out for? If it's possible at all for it to be taught, or they have to come to a professional, for them not to fall into that trap.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in contract, right? There's what we call fine print. In contract, fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you use most of this software, to do your taxes yourself, you are entering into a contract with them, to help you submit your tax return to the IRS, right? And a lot of the times we don't read the fine print of this software saying this right here is your responsibility. What if you use this tax software, it is whatever happens is your responsibility. That is number 1. Number 2 is a lot of the times you would hear that, oh, this software is free. And at the end of the day, you find out that you still have to pay, to get your taxes, submitted. And yeah, I mean, some of this software, they are good in the sense that when you get to a point, they would ask, do you want to speak to an agent? If you don't seem to understand what is happening. And if you click yes, of course, an agent would have to jump on, and sometimes they would have to charge you for that. But what I have concerns about is that most of these softwares would not give you the opportunity to spend time to understand your taxes, which is what separates FinServ Pro from a lot of this software and even some other tax preparers. A lot of the times we hear something like, no one has ever told me this before. I've been filing taxes for over 20 years. I've never seen this. Education. So that is a big red flag for someone like me when it comes to filing your taxes and doing it yourself. Because remember this, right? You cannot be more educated than yourself. It's not possible. It is what you know. That's why where we come and say, now waiting you know, you do waiting. Now waiting you know now. It is what you know that you know. It is what you know that you know. You cannot be more educated than yourself. You can be more educated than someone else. Someone else can be more educated than you, but it is what you know that you will teach yourself. Everything I'm saying here now is what I know. Is there more to know? Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
And that's why at FinServ Pro, we always, every day, add something to what we know. And that's why we also say all the time, we welcome any client, because we know that every challenge we get is a form of education. So one big red flag for me is that do-it-yourself software a lot of the times don't give you that room to be educated about your taxes and what you are doing.
Hmm. Wow. I kind of think that we should start charging for I think we should start telling people that okay, before you join any of our I don't know how we're going to do it because there's just so much that that but I want to before we continue, thank you so much, sir, for that one. I want to quickly give a shout out to some of our people on the line on I think on YouTube. Let me find that out and give some shout out to some of our people on there. I've misplaced this thing. Well, okay, I will come back. But everyone on YouTube, thank you so much. I see some people leaving very, very solid and insightful comments and all of that. Thank you so much for joining us. Some are saying that FinServe Pro, we're professionals and so much more. But I'll come back and say a big hello to everyone on both Instagram and our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, boss. Let's talk about someone that runs a business. How do you think that doing it yourself can affect negatively or positively? I mean, I know that running a business might be different from individuals, right? How can even doing it yourself be beneficial or be negative to you running your business long term if you want to really do it yourself? Because if you look at it, people who are starting businesses, they're starting with little or nothing, right? How can we help them to understand, right, the dangers or the even pros and cons? Because one of the things that you said when you started was you're not afraid, you are a fan of do it yourself as much as possible, right? But how can this benefit your business? Maybe when you're just starting out, and how can it be of a disadvantage at a certain point of your business?
Yeah, so as business owners, most of us, I would say, is selfish to what we want. I mean, I'm not in that league, but I
Mm,
see this all the time that a lot of business owners, we are selfish to what we want.
mm,
And that plays out in how we file our taxes. That is number one. And I'm going to explain. That's number one.
right.
Number two is that some of us don't even know the right form to file. I mentioned earlier that we have different forms of businesses. I've seen situations where someone who has a partnership business is filing a Schedule C, where they should file a
Mm,
1065, for example. So, I see that a lot, that not understanding your business and the forms to fill is a very big problem. Now, back to how we are being selfish is the fact that business owners, we know this, that we don't want to pay taxes.
mhm,
You know, we don't want to pay too much taxes. And the only way to do that is to reduce what we call our taxable profit, right? Which is the same thing as taxable income. And in doing that, a lot of business owners would now be claiming unallowed or what we call disallowed deductions.
mm,
When you have a business, there are expenses that are related to that business. The ones that are not related, you cannot claim on that business, right? And that is why so many business owners are getting letters from the IRS because they are claiming deductions that has no relation with the business. A very good example: you have a business that is into healthcare, for example, healthcare,
mm,
right? And then the um, um, chain that you bought to use to go and do party, you
Yeah.
are putting that on business expenses. What is the correlation? That is just a very, very, silly, example.
Shouldn't that be
Uh,
considered and what's it called now, a dishonest move? You know.
oh yeah, so that's what we are saying, and like I said, it comes out of being selfish and not wanting to pay what you should pay to the government. So in finances and income, in accounting and taxes, we have what we call allowed deductions and disallowed deductions. And a lot of the times you will see clients saying that they want to claim disallowed deductions. You will get letter. You will get letter. The money that you are using to pay school fees, government said no, it is not an expense. People want to expense that. So that's the major thing that the two things, there are other things, but those are the two major things that we see that business owners need orientation on. Number one, knowing the right forms to fill. Number two, understanding that there is what we call disallowed and allowed deduction. And then the other thing that I see is that most business owners, they don't have what we call an accounting system. Many of them are still doing things on paper. You have a business, for example. If I ask you how much income did you make, what is the income you generated in income? Many people cannot say this. When you can actually just go to your software, punch it in, bang, 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 do January 1st to January 31st. It will tell you what came in because you have what we call an accounting system. These things are very easy. And the United States, right, is such an advanced system that they don't expect you coming with financials that do not represent the business. And one of the easiest way you can do that is just having just have an accounting system. Just have an accounting system that is automated. As money is coming into your bank account, bam, the QuickBooks is picking it. The Sage is picking it. The
Check your audio, sir. Check your audio. It went muted. Hello, sir. Your audio is muted, sir.
How about now? Am I back? Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah, someone was trying to call my line. I don't know if I don't even know who that was. Yeah, so that is just to keep it simple. I can go on and on with business owners, but because we don't have all the time, we'll just yeah.
All right. I mean, just to follow up, right? Can you still hear me, please? Let me just confirm that
I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, just a quick follow-up, right, on that. I know that a lot of the time we deal with, immigrants, the immigrant communities and all that. And if you want to trace, we almost do not pay taxes due to the fact that we're like, what has the government given to me and all of that. When it comes to taxing and the conversations, right, we don't really want to hear it or talk about it. Do you think that it is, it almost a second nature traditional behavior that we take, into other countries, the Western world, the United States, why, things like being dishonest with our taxes come to play, or it's quickly. I mean, we just touch on that and start this conversation. Hello, sir. Did you catch my question?
Yeah, I did not because you were going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, I was asking that, you touched on the fact that a lot of people are dishonest with their taxes, right?
Yeah.
And even though they want to do it themselves, they also want to corner some monies and not disclose them,
Yeah.
right? I was
Mhm.
saying that, I mean, if you want to look at it, because we deal with a lot of immigrants, especially people who maybe left Nigeria or some of the African countries, do you think that this is the home thing that we took, to the Western world and we're executing that? Because over here, to talk about tax or pay taxes is usually a conversation that is not friendly to many.
I mean, that I don't even know. I don't even know how to answer that question, honestly. But to be honest, right? Um, we we need to do better. To be honest, um, we really need to do better in on learning certain stuffs, and this is
Right.
not just affecting how we file taxes. It also affects how we live our lives in this country. You know, we we come from countries that our mentality has been, bastardized, right? We we have been taught by the
Mm,
institutions in these countries we come from not to trust the government, you know, and to not work with ourselves, and to not be responsible, because you will do what you see, right? You will do what you see. And
mm,
most of us, what we have seen in the countries we come from has really messed us up. But my message is we are now in a new country, a country where the system
mm,
is working. You have to first accept that I am now in a new country. Number two, understand the systems that operate in this new country that you are. Study them. Study them.
mm.
And you will realize that they are different from where we are coming from. And once you see that, trust the system. And like I told a lady yesterday, step forward. Step forward. And in stepping forward is one of the things we are talking about this morning. File your taxes and file them right. Those
Mm.
who built the system that you are now in, that would work for you if you do the right thing. What most of them did is pay their fair share. In fact, I can read out, I can read out. Let me see if I can find this guy, right? Just hold on. Let me see if I'm going to find out. I'm going to read
Yes.
out. Yeah. I'm going to read out this.
Okay.
I'm going to read this out.
Mm,
I said to a client that is, Oyibo, a white client that came here. And I sent the client that this client is owing $8,000 and some change. And the client responded, that is okay. It is what I expected. How do I pay? And moving
mm.
forward, I would like to make quarterly payment. Do you think you can help me schedule this? And I responded, yes, we can help you. You give an Oyibo man $8,000 bill. Look at what this Oyibo man said. Yes, that's okay. It is what I expected. Give our own people this same bill. They will come. The first thing they will say is, Mr. Ayo, you want to kill me. The same work, the same income, the same tax bill.
Mm,
You will get a different reaction from those that are the host of these countries that we live in. And the question would be, you are here. And no matter whether you like it or not, you will depend on the systems in this country. Do you want the system to collapse? Or if those that were here before you, if they have done what you are doing now, do you think, don't you know that system costs money to maintain? Right? And we can do better. Trust me, we can do better.
I agree absolutely. I mean, we can do way better than how we're doing, and of course that's why FinServ Pro is here to help. Right. So we'll just conclude, right? Because experiencing some very interesting, facing some Nigerian factors here. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Emile, for taking time. And like I said earlier, people should start paying to hear all of these things for free. Well, but thank you to all our audience, those who joined us online on YouTube specifically this time. Thank you so much. I can see all the appreciations. I see all the, encouragement, and, an enlightened expert is important. FinServ Pro gives you more insight. Thank you so much to give us feedback on what you have learned so far. Mr. Ayomide, any final words before we leave?
Yeah, my final word, do it yourself is good. Do it yourself is a form of education. But once you are beginning to be frustrated, you now have to spend your time that could have been valuable for something else. While trying to figure out that thing that you want to do yourself. Look for a professional. In fact, my thing would be the indication to know that time up for do it yourself, DIY. Time up is when you are beginning to be frustrated and irritated at what you are so good at doing. You have mastered something that you gave yourself a certificate that I have master in this thing, and now you want to do it again, and then you are now having to be like, am I right here? Quit right there and look for a professional. That would be my parting word. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
That's just it. And yes, thank you. Look for a professional. FinServ Pro is very much available to you. All right, reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email, go to our website, send us a DM. Everywhere we are there, we'll respond to you, and one of our consultants will talk to you, show you, teach you, let you know how to go, and of course, just help you go through the process, filing your taxes, knowing what to do, how to go about it as much as possible. Because of course, this is FinServ Pro, and FinServ Pro is your gateway to financial success. So if you want to be successful, right, or you want to build generational wealth, we can help you do that. All right. So don't go anywhere. Call us, talk to us, because we are more than available and more than capable to help you. Thank you so much. For
so I would want to just
time.
do a shout out to someone
every Friday. Okay. Please.
Yeah, I just want to do a shout out. I don't know if you are still there, Mr. Kandume. So I just got a text from someone now saying I'm ready now to file my taxes with you. I was just watching you on YouTube. Very informative. Mr. Kandume, if you can hear me, thank you so much. And yes, we are here to help you file your taxes.
That's how it is. Now that is someone that takes the bulls by the horns. That's the person that says, okay, I think I need to do this right. Okay, that's why we have conversations like this to help people see why this is important. Thank you everyone for joining, and We'll be seeing you next week. Please join us every Friday. Okay, that's 12 noon EST and 5 p.m. WAT, right, for the Money Moves Tax Edition. Okay, thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel King Femi here, and it has been a delight doing this. I'm going to see you all next week. Keep being successful, and do not forget that this is FinServ Pro, your gateway to financial success. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Mario, I'll be talking to you today about why messy books cost you money. Messy books aren't just annoying, they're expensive. Now, when your records are all over the place, you miss deductions, track expenses wrong, and increase your chances of filing errors, which can mean paying more taxes. Who wants that? Now, for business owners, mixing personal and business expenses can raise your tax bill and even trigger reviews. We're trying to avoid that, right? Now, plus, messy books make you rush decisions, and rush decisions usually cost you money. If your numbers aren't clear, tax season gets stressful really fast. Now let FinServ Pro get you organized. Visit www.finserv.pro or email info@finserv.pro. We'll get you organized, started, and ready to go this tax season. Thank you.
FinServ Pro, your gateway to financial success.